There is a game being played all around you. It has rules, it has patterns, it has exploits, and you were never given the instruction manual. But three people in history, separated by centuries, by continents, by circumstance, each discovered something that shouldn't have been possible. One turned worthless land into an empire. One made a nation believe a lie so completely that it became the truth. And one, a woman dismissed by every institution of her time, saw a code hidden inside the human body that would take the world another 100 years to understand. They didn't break reality. They simply realized that the walls everyone else saw were painted on glass. By the end of this video, you'll see what they saw, and you'll understand why the most dangerous thing you can do is accept the world as it's presented to you. Let's draw the lines. You have been taught to play by rules you never agreed to. Go to school, get the degree, climb the ladder, follow the path. And somewhere along the way, you stopped asking a fundamental question. Who built this ladder, and where does it actually lead? The three figures we're about to examine asked that question. They looked at the structures everyone else accepted: land ownership, national identity, the limits of human knowledge, and they saw them for what they were: stories. Powerful stories, but stories nonetheless. This matters to you because you are living inside stories right now, about what you can achieve, about what you deserve, about what's realistic. The fire that transformed these three lives wasn't genius. It wasn't luck. It was the moment they stopped believing the painted walls were made of stone. In 1903, a German immigrant named Jacob Astor IV's great-grandfather had already been dead for 50 years. But the fortune he built was still growing, still compounding, still defying logic. The original Jacob Astor arrived in America with almost nothing. He sold musical instruments. He traded furs. But here's what made him different from every other ambitious immigrant of his era. He understood that wealth wasn't about what something was. It was about what something would become. Manhattan in the early 1800s was a cramped, chaotic island. The wealthy lived downtown. The northern reaches of the island were considered worthless, rocky, undeveloped, too far from civilization. Astor saw something else entirely. He understood population growth. He understood that cities expand. He understood that worthless land north of the city wasn't worthless at all. It was tomorrow's real estate, sold at yesterday's prices. So he bought, and he bought, and he bought. Land that merchants laughed at, land that bankers dismissed, land that would one day hold the Empire State Building, Rockefeller Center, Times Square. But here's the detail that reveals the true nature of his hack. Astor rarely sold the land. He leased it. 99-year leases that ensured his family would own the ground beneath buildings they never constructed, collecting rent from tenants who built fortunes on soil that was never theirs. He didn't predict the future, he purchased it. While everyone else traded in the present, Astor traded in time itself. The first line of the constellation: reality is not fixed, it is temporal. The person who understands where the present is heading owns the future before it arrives. There's a question that will unsettle you if you sit with it long enough. How do you know your history is real? In the late 18th century, a woman named Eliza Hamilton understood something profound. Her husband, Alexander, had been killed in a duel. His political enemies controlled the narrative, and she watched, in real time, as the story of his life was being rewritten by men who hated him. But Eliza didn't accept this. For the next 50 years, she waged a quiet, relentless campaign to control how her husband would be remembered. She collected his letters. She organized his papers. She interviewed everyone who had known him. She commissioned the first biography. She ensured that the version of Alexander Hamilton that survived was her version. The play that made Hamilton a household name in the 21st century, it drew directly from the biography Eliza commissioned. The Hamilton you know, the scrappy immigrant, the brilliant writer, the tragic hero, is a construction, a careful, deliberate, loving construction that one woman spent half a century building. She understood something that most people never grasp. History isn't what happened. History is what gets remembered. And memory can be designed. But here's what makes this a true hack of reality. She didn't lie. She didn't fabricate. She curated. She selected. She emphasized. She framed. And in doing so, she demonstrated that the truth is never the whole picture. The truth is always a story someone chose to tell. The second line of the constellation. Perception is architecture. The person who builds the frame controls what the world sees inside it. In 1952, a photograph was taken that would change human history, but the woman who took it would be dead before she received any credit. Rosalind Franklin was a crystallographer, a scientist who used X-rays to reveal the hidden structures of molecules. She worked in a basement laboratory at King's College London, largely isolated, frequently dismissed, operating in an academic environment that saw women as assistants at best and obstacles at worst. But Franklin saw something no one else could see. In the patterns of X-ray diffraction, in the angles and shadows and mathematical relationships, she decoded the structure of DNA, the language in which life itself is written. Her photograph, known as Photo 51, was shown without her knowledge to James Watson. Watson would later describe the moment he saw it as an instant revelation. He and Francis Crick built their model of the double helix using her data. They won the Nobel Prize. She was a footnote. But here's what makes Franklin's story a reality hack, not a tragedy. She didn't need recognition to see what she saw. The code was there. It had always been there. And while the men around her played political games for credit and status, she was reading the actual language of existence. She understood that reality has a structure beneath the surface. Most people look at the world and see chaos, randomness, complexity. Franklin looked and saw patterns, rules, an underlying order that could be decoded if you had the patience and precision to look closely enough. The third line of the constellation. Reality has a hidden architecture. The person who looks past appearances to structures sees what the surface dwellers never will. 3 people, 3 centuries, 3 completely different domains, and yet the same pattern. Astor looked past the present and saw the trajectory of time. Eliza Hamilton looked past events and saw the architecture of memory. Rosalind Franklin looked past chaos and saw the code beneath matter itself. They didn't hack reality through force. They hacked it through perception. They simply refused to accept the surfaces everyone else mistook for depth. The walls were painted on glass. And now you know the question that separates those who see from those who remain blind. What am I looking at that everyone else assumes is solid, permanent, and unchangeable? That isn't. The game is still being played. The patterns are still there. The only question is whether you'll keep accepting the instruction manual you were never given, or start writing your own. If this connected a few dots for you, consider subscribing. There are more patterns to reveal, more constellations to draw. The fire doesn't burn those who learn to see. It burns away what was never real to begin with.